I'm out here today on the red chrome, and yesterday I put up 200 kilometres on it, and it was a really enjoyable ride. It was like a 3-hour tour from the Gilligan Island days, and went out there, photographed the canola crops. So that's about the longest ride I've had over the last few months. Like 200 k's is a pretty good run out on one of these. But what I thought I might do, I might just correct a clip I did a couple back. I'm talking about the 2024 Classic 350 in the Enfield range, the new one's coming out. Now, I did sort of slander those a bit and say I didn't like the clown colours and they didn't do much for what they did to these bikes in the 24 model, apart from put in a gear selector and LED headlights in some and indicators in the other one and a few minor things like that. But, this is what happened yesterday. I go out and I ride this bike around. I'm thinking how good this bike runs, and like 3 hours on the bike gives you plenty of time to think about what you think of these machines. And over the period I've had this bike, and there was another little drawback when I got back. As soon as I got back home, the wife said there's a letter there from the RTA for you, and I opened it up, and this bike's due for rego in 1 month's time. So I've had it almost 12 months. So in that 12 months I've put around about 4,500 kilometres on it, and the only two things I've had problem with, one was the speedo, like a lot of people had, like on both bikes I had the sticky speedo. Not much you can do about that apart from get a replacement. And number two, the battery went on me, and that could have been from the bike sitting there for a fair while and I never put it on a trickle charger, and that caused the issues there. So anyway, she was looking at it and she said to me after I'd read it, I said, oh, that's just a rego for the red chrome, it's about a year old. And she said to me, oh well, it'll soon be heading towards Christmas, what would you like in that line? So I said to her, I don't know, hard to say. And she said, how about if I get you the new GoPro 13 you've been talking about, it's out. So I thought that over and I said, I don't know, I wouldn't mind one of those bronze Enfields in the 2024 model, because that one tickled me fancy a bit, you could say, when I checked into it when I was looking at the clips when they come out. And she said to me, well, if you want to go to that sort of level, she said, you'll be buying it. So I thought, Jesus, straight away the door's open. No complaints, just saying, if you're buying it, please yourself. So I've been thinking it over, and I think, I might go for the 2024 one and do a pre-order as soon as they become available in Australia, and buy that bronzy looking one with the white tank, because that's a fairly smart looking bike. Now you might say, hey Warro, what do you want, a 23 and 24 plate bike, because the one you got's only just a year old? Well, I think the reason for that one would be, I'm thinking now, I would really like to see what it'd be like if I bought a motorcycle and actually looked after it and never took it dirt roading. And that one looks almost too pretty to get out there and ride along dirt roads and something like that, and just concentrate, see what it's really like to buy a bike and keep it clean and polished and go out there and say, gee, that's a nice looking one. And like I said, that bronzy white one certainly appeals to me, and I can still use my red chrome one for the dirt bashing. So because I'm out here naturally today, you would have seen where I come through on this clip. Now that was the old forest here before they cut it down, but look how quick the vegetation's sort of grown back in 1 year, so it's been an interesting time there. So so that's what I'm thinking now. As soon as these 2024 model colours are released, if the bronze white one comes in, and when you're hunting around you've probably been looking at them anyway, so if one of those comes in that colour, I'll do a pre-order before the shipment arrives and pick one up that way. So who knows, I think even though I slandered them in the first place and said that I thought some of them were clown colours, which I do, and they didn't do much to them, I think if the opportunity there in my case, I might as well go straight in and grab one of those, and I can have this one for dirt bashing and the other one just as a nice little cruiser around. And nothing wrong with this one either, it's going all right. Like 200 k's on it yesterday, trouble-free run, no drama whatsoever, motored along pretty well. The other thing is, I had thought about maybe swinging into a Triumph and that again, but that idea fell through, because as soon as I went out on yesterday's 200 kilometre ride, I was only 5 kilometres out on the run, and straight away ran into one of those mobile speed cameras. what they park on the side of the road. Well, I was only doing 90 or 95 on this at the time when I come up, peaked the hill and then went into the gully and then bumped straight into that speed camera. If I would have been on a 900cc one, it might have been a lot more involved and expensive compared to just buying these 350s, ride around at your leisurely speed, get out there, bring your little drone along, camera, throw a few aerial shots and other things like that as you go along and sort of enjoy yourself that way. So I think at this stage that is the big thing happening now. I think for sure once they release them, the first time I looked through them and I thought I didn't mind the look of that bronze one, and now the door's open and the wife's got no complaint and said, providing I'm buying it, well, I can't see any problem there. So if they come here in that colour, that's what I'll do. I'll put a pre-order in on one of those ones and I'll have the red chrome and the bronze, and I can see what it's like then to if it's possible to look after a bike, because all the J Series 350s I had, like the Hunter, the Marsh Grey, the Halcyon Grey, and this one here, they've all hit dirt. But I was actually thinking that other one looks almost too pretty to take along on the dirt roads, so I think I'll just keep bashing it along on this one. Now, if you're here for the first time looking at this, take into account I've got my custom Rudback aftermarket mudguards. Picked them up off eBay, I think 250 with a set to put on. I'm running the touring seat, I'm running the rack, heel and toe shifter, sump guard and touring mirrors. So overall this is really set up to do a bit of dirt running, and it's not disappointing. It gets out there. I did find when I was out there yesterday, I was on the worst dirt road so far I've experienced on the bike, and a huge amount of loose gravel on it. And I mean thick gravel, probably in some areas 2 or 3 inches thick. Now, I did notice this bike was wandering around a bit on it, but I was sitting on around about 50 and sometimes 60 kilometres an hour on it, where I've been able to go quicker on a more hard-packed dirt surface. And I don't know, like I'm running a 30-pound front and rear on these ones. Somebody that knows anything about tyres might be able to say to me, if I would have dropped to 20-pound pressure or something to that effect, I don't know, would the bike have been more stable on it? Or when you get to the, gravel like that, you just got to go with the flow, you could say. So anyway, that's the latest news. I just thought I'd correct that, because if this one comes in that colour and I go ahead and buy, you'll have people come back to me later on and said, I thought you were the one that said this and you wouldn't do that and wouldn't buy it. Well, in that case, I apologise for that thing, but things have changed over the last week or so since I put the clip up, and the opportunity is there, and if it comes along, I think I'll grab it. And, I won't think. If it comes along and it's up in that colour, I'll buy it. So that is the best way to do it. And, I just really like that colour. It's a really good one, and a lot of the colours that come out in these infoils, sure, I buy them, but I'm not in love with them, and that sort of colour sort of does a bit for me, and I think it could be a bike that I'd be prepared to look at, polish and do something like that, where in my case that's something I never do. You can only look at here. You can see here where the birds look. Now look at that there. Is that patina? So or it could be bird crap, I don't know. But anyway, that's the latest. So I just thought I'd correct that one, because if I come along and tell you later on there I'm going to go for that bike, well, I'll have people there trying to stab me in the back and say, yeah, I thought you wouldn't do this and that. So I'm correcting it now, and it's a goer. If it comes in here in that colour, it's a goer. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Take a look. I will catch you.